Seattle Surge.
Gunless absolutely rips his way through the three of them. Can Porcini win the two?
No.
He does. That's three straight. Son finds himself another one. He got the kill. Are you kidding me? Now Seattle's inside. 249, 249. Seattle won.
And we have a game for you today. We have the Seattle Surge versus the Dallas Empire, the defending champions. You couldn't ask for a better lineup if you wanted it. Guys, we have a lot of ground to cover from last time. Obviously, our performance hasn't been the best, but the team has still been performing in their own right, and you have seen some of the best gameplay individually from these players. Unfortunately, this is an individual game. It's not a solo play. It is team effort. So, guys, today I'm hoping that the team comes together and we're able to perform better than you have seen. Like I said, individually stacked, each player on this roster is incredible. I've seen the stats, I've seen you on paper, I've seen you perform, I've seen you slay in all of these different events. At LAN, you guys were on fire. It was one of my favorite times to ever watch you. I cannot believe what I was able to witness. That showed an incredible future, and unfortunately at this moment, it's not the future that we've been able to chase after. It is stage 5. It is the home series. This is our domain, our territory, and our time to shine. We need to bounce back better than ever and prove that you can't sleep on us, because we are the Seattle Surge. We are a team to reckon with, and it's time to put our money where our mouth is and show that, because this is what it all comes down to, guys. I'm excited for today. We're going to skip any kind of prediction. I've talked about it before. I've hit you with the superstition that anytime I give any kind of prediction, it tends to do a whole 180, and it works in favor of who we're going against. So we skip predictions. If you want to do them in the chat, you're more than welcome to. In fact, I encourage you to, because it honestly might make it a little more fun for you. I personally won't be engaging with my own prediction, but I'll engage with you guys in chat. We can talk about it there. I'm here for that. But today, what I am going to predict is I'm hoping the icy hot is hot right off the bat. We're going to start with Gunless, because Gunless has come down to being one of my favorite players I've seen perform. When watching him play, we don't get a lot of airtime with him, but I feel like he is a slept-on player. He has this reputation. Don't get me wrong. Hey, listen, hear me out. He has this amazing reputation as being one of the best ARs in the league, but when this man picks up an AR and runs an SMG, I don't think he can be stopped. I think that's when the ice becomes hot and that fire is lit, and he is someone who has no ability to be slowed down once that happens. I want that right away, please. Okay, I'm looking forward to that. Classic. We talk about it every single time. Every single time. You play entry, and you do it really well, but the trades don't follow. And when they do follow, it's too late, because you're obviously already dead. So if we're going to play this trade game, I'm here for it, but let's avoid it in search, okay? Let's not do that in search. Let's try to get first pick, change that up, and make it so that we're up on a 4v3, and we have the full advantage, and let's follow it all the way through, okay? That's what I want to see from you today. Octane, I feel like you're playing a totally solo game right now, and I'm not sure the agenda behind it. I'm just going to call it how I see it. You are getting kills. You are fragging. You are slaying everything that comes in your path. That is not questioned. All right. There's nothing in my mind where I'm like, okay, well, maybe Octane didn't get kills today. No, you get them every single time. The problem is, I don't think they're completely contributing to the team effort. I know that maybe sometimes you get kill streaks from them, but if someone's able to get a rotation because you're holding back a spot or holding back trying to get these kills, your team's getting caught out and you're no longer there to get the trade. This person that has free roam and can get 2 or 3 people with them before you're able to get killed or get the kill. So let's try to avoid that. Maybe play a little closer with your team and try to get the kills that way. Even if you need to bait them a little bit, so be it. But I would like to see you play a little closer with your team and get those rotations down so that we're not having you lagging behind or anything like that. Preston, you've been playing excellently. I feel like you're the only one really showing up and continuing to put that grind in. So that's what I'm here for, and I'm hoping to see that today. But let's move to the keys, okay? Keys to the game. This is what it comes down to. All right, last match went down to the wire. Let's change the ending, okay? Let's not be on the losing end this time. All right, I'm fine for a close game. I'm fine with it going to the 11th round. Whatever it needs to do, I'm here for it. Let's just be the ones that come out on top with that W, okay? Point number 2, Dallas are rolling. We need to come out really fast. They are the reigning former champs holding everything. They've got the title, they've got the gunplay, they've got the skill. We need to stop momentum before it can start. If the momentum starts, it could be all over for us that quickly, okay? So if we stop the momentum or prevent the momentum from even happening, it all goes in favor of the Seattle Surge, and that's what we need today. Point number 3, shut down Dallas subs with our ARs. The subs are a major fear and a major threat that everyone in the league has dealt with, okay? If our ARs can shut them down, or even if the subs can shut down the subs, that would be fantastic. But the ARs, if you can keep some distance, shut those subs down. If Octane plays how he was, but a little more close with the team, I think those subs stand no chance to have any kind of flanks or counters on our roster. And that's what we need today, okay? That's what I'm looking forward to. That's what I'm anticipating the most from everyone. I say every single week, the team effort needs to be there. And I just don't see it. I see players showing up, performing individually at separate times. You'll notice it yourself while watching us. So if we're able to get on top of that and get control, and all 4 players are able to play together, I don't really think there's a team that can keep up with us in terms of gun skill like that. Because you all are very raw, very cracked players at the end of the day. There's a reason why you are in the professional league, okay? It's time to show it. It's time to show up, put that performance on, and let no one stand by questioning, okay? There should be no more questions. No one should be wondering why you're here. We should all know this is why they're here. This is what they get paid to do. That's why these guys are as amazing as they are. And that's what I want to see today, okay? Guys, remember as well, if you want to look as good as I do, as good as our players do, as good as our staff, or anyone else who supports the Seattle Surge, you guys as well can get the merch, hoodies, and more at shop.seattlesurge.gg. We just came out with a champion line that looks so amazing. I'm so excited for it. I honestly can't wait. I didn't hear what you just said. I apologize for that. There's a short drop right now for the home series kit right now. Literally check the link in the description, guys. Go check that out right now for me, okay? It's a quick little short drop. Not going to be around long. It's probably better than anything I have in my closet. I'm going to check it out myself now that I just learned about it. I'm actually excited for that. Guys, check it out. Remember, shop.seattlesurge.gg. You guys can look as good as I do. I'll see you guys in the chat. I'm really excited for today's performance. I don't know how it's going to go. It could go in either way. And for that, I'm actually genuinely excited. Guys, remember, I'm RLAW, and drown them out.
Be a champs, and it's a tough pill to swallow. But as we talked about, I mean, there have been a number of teams who have turned up despite that. We talked about the Ravens, we talked about the Legion. You know, it's almost like kind of channeling that anger and saying, you know what, we don't really know what the future holds, but all we know is that there is still $500,000 to play for at that major. A win today for Seattle could do wonders for their confidence, and they still have a LAN to attend. As you mentioned, when they were on LAN last time, it was terrifying. Octane was putting up 1.3s, dropping 40 bombs on checkmate Hardpoint, but how do they fare off today? Again, have yet to win a Hardpoint so far throughout this stage are your Seattle Surge. We'll see how they fare off today against the Dallas Empire as we are already in toward P1, and it's Octane rocking out the sub. Interesting plays. I know we've talked about Sogtane previously, now the 74U, showing that Octane is a well-cultured man.
Yeah, so we're going to get into this game. We usually don't see Octane with that submachine gun in his hand, but it was probably just for the initial bake. But so far, trades are going back and forth. Dallas are able to at least take control of it for the time being. As Crypsix is going to be able to put himself onto a multi-kill. He's going to get naded by Octane, but still, the spawns and the control right now of this P1 still in favor of Dallas. Seattle are able to put themselves in towards this, but now they have to start focusing off the rotation. Dallas are actually putting a lot of pressure here, and that's going to spawn one player behind them. And Octane, he's actually going to go big, picks up that kill off the rotation, and just like that, Seattle are going to flip the spawns.
And he's keeping the sub out. He's keeping the 74U out. He says, all right, I got the backside spawn. Perfect. I got the weapon right for the job. Interesting start for the Surge, but again, they managed to get a decent amount of time at P1. They get that preferable spawn for Sam LaRue, and from there, it is all history. Surge starting off Kitchen to a great start. 5-3 for Octane. Pristini looking to provide some pressure toward the back as well. But as Dallas looked to try to enter in, Vivid, he ends up dropping for the first. Shotzi as well is able to answer. Gunless, the final player left inside of the hard point, but he is going to have to try to rotate on out. Dallas break when they have to, and Gunless, he's still picking up kills. Stud, that is 7 in a row for him. 1 kill away from streaks. Surge, they are playing lights out to start. And it's just a matter of time, it feels like, before that cruise missile is earned. There you go.
They're playing great, man.
Oh.
Gunless is having himself a map. 11-1 on a 9 spree. Seattle did a great job of just contesting this kitchen to the best of their ability. But now they're going to have the numbers off the rotation. Gunless, you just got to make sure you hold your cam. Don't spawn behind P2. And that's exactly what's going to happen. So now Seattle are going to be fully set up for this. I'm actually curious, with Octane running the sub, is Classic switching to that second AR? Because it might be the call that they were looking for. But so far right now, Seattle are in the setup. They just have to hold this push that's coming in from Art.
Yeah, I want to say you're right. I think for a moment it looked like Classic did have the Kruger out. We'll have to obviously keep that in mind as time goes on. And one thing that's interesting, as you mentioned, Stud, is that not just that Octane is just any kind of AR. He just happens to be one of the greatest AR players in Call of Duty esports history. So with that in mind, an interesting strat, but if there was a time to bring it out, it very well could be now. Surge, they win the rotation, but once more, it is Dallas breaking in toward the bitter end, as they'll be rewarded with those final 20 seconds. But it's Surge putting themselves in favorable spots. It's going to be a neck and neck, back and forth, maybe a 1 to 2 point game, but they've come to play to start. Again, Gunless playing so well, 14-4 so far throughout Raid. As we'll see how the break will look for the Dallas Empire, specifically Surge putting themselves in a spot to succeed. Octane drops toward water steps, but at least takes one with him.
Yeah, so now Seattle, they're just relieving the pressure as Dallas Empire, they're trying to approach this hill through the middle of the map, trying to push through Kitchen, but they're just finding kills on the side of Seattle, leaving these guys to continue to spawn out towards water. You're going to have Crim and Vivid actually pick up too, so this is where the pitch is going to be set up. You have a couple players from Seattle going to spawn all the way across the map, but this is where Gunless is going to use his streak. As Vicini finds 2, Classic finds a 3rd, a team kill from Gunless. Doesn't really matter. Seattle still holding.
Streak usage not been the best today, but Surge looking mighty fine to start off this raid hardpoint. Let's go and step aside and see how the communication is sounding with our Astro listening on Seattle.
You said kitchen, right?
Yeah,
I don't have a trophy. One sorry.
I'm in kitchen.
I did a kitchen, sorry, Tim. One is pillars,
Double back kitchen, both in kitchen fast, both in kitchen.
One pillars.
Two kitchen, one raid. Give me 2 water steps as well.
I got one kitchen, no one got me open. Alright. 40 seconds ago. I can streak here.
Free kill.
Somebody got open stuff right now. Somebody help me Zig. Open deep.
Oh,
I don't see.
kill me open. Absolutely close that hill, and one's pillars that down.
One got me left side.
That's that time, Reese.
30 seconds. Alright, I have streaks for
Reese
now.
is pushing out.
I spawned out. I spawned out on pitch. Go catch.
Reese is already new. Reese is already new.
Enter dead. Go one.
Reese is already new.
Yeah, get this time. I have streaks.
Yo, outer. He's outer. Far left.
Go wander.
It's side laundry. Far left shotty weak. And top laundry.
There's 20 basketball, guys.
Shotty on me. In ring, shotty.
Two. One got me open steps right now.
Outer ring.
Steps, Grim got me.
Outer ring, Shotzi, look at me.
Ring.
Yo, laundry
He's
steps,
gonna push pillars.
Go back laundry, go back laundry.
Crim, absolute white man. So we go in.
He's dead.
Nice, no outer. Try to get pillars, don't kill pillars.
He did push up left. Over left. Over right.
Nice.
One push right. 12 push right.
Nice.
I got one of my steps.
Outer van and laundry steps. Outer and laundry.
We spawned wander, guys. We spawned wander.
One's laundry.
Let's play middle, guys.
So is it so you can hear me but stream can't?
Wander dead. We're behind me.
I'm in bottom right.
Move in.
Pivot dead.
Got him.
There's a
Top art, coming top art.
Got him 3.
I need to know how much trash I can talk before it's too late.
Somebody get that on 5 seconds.
I gotta choke in, you guys. I'm needing driveway.
Perfect. Thank you. I have our.
I'm pushing up top.
I have your middle. If you stay down, I'll make a push you.
I'm living.
Make a push you.
There's two there. Both weak.
Making sure I stay
I
back.
got me. There's 2. They're going middle. They're giving it out. We're just gonna smoke. You can go, Sam.
Ender dead. One's money.
Money dead.
Two dead. They spawn
In the back.
Yeah, back
All good.
They still spawn out. Nice,
In the back.
Look at her middle.
Let's see him jungle. He's in.
Well, major fight toward the backside of P2 with Surge that were once again put in a great position given the spawns.
But it will be Dallas that reigns true from the front. They get the job done instead of kitchen. They clear up back jungle, and with that, this is their chance to get back in the game. But based off those comms, Stud, what'd you take from them?
Honestly, it's everyone communicating, but you also heard Gunless. He's basically commanding the troops. He's going to be that main AR, so he's stepping up in the role, making sure that his SMGs are pushing out the right thing. It's just still completely mind-blowing to me that Octane is running a sub. I just can't believe it. This is a guy who was dropping a 1.7 on land with that Krieg in his hand, but obviously they haven't seen a lot of success. Classic switching over to that AR. Hopefully he's able to put a couple more kills on the board. And so far in this first hardpoint, it's been great between both of these teams. Dallas right now are going to be able to take the lead. Now it's all about focusing off the rotation. And with two players here, Octane's going to be able to set up off this pinch. That's going to be one, going to be two. And just like that, Seattle are going to win the rotation.
Subtane,
I think.
Subtane gets the work done to start, but is quickly met with fire. Hear those Dallas Empire players spawning toward front mansion. With that, the setup is broken. Made a solid attempt, as we mentioned, took down two players from back weight room. This Crim6 will handle and also toss out the nade. A nice little triple coming in from C6. But still, I mean, I gotta say, like, you gotta be somewhat impressed, I think. Like, all things considered for the Surge, like, you're changing up roles, and they're still, you know, for the most part, running with them. We'll see how this next rotation looks, but, I mean, they're doing, for the most part, most things right.
Yeah, they're looking a lot better, more fluid as a team, man. Octane is picking up his kills with the SMG, winning those huge one-on-one engagements, and that's something that Classic he tends to struggle with at sometimes. And also, Gunless, he's having himself a game. 27 and 16, like I said, he still has that artillery in his back pocket to use off the rotation, as Dallas are starting to pull away. But you see the rotation gunfights all going in favor of Florida. Now that's going to be, for Seattle, they're going to be fully set up now for this basketball hill. Yeah, they're set up quite nicely. Again, a huge hill, huge opportunity for Dallas Empire, but Surge, they hold the line, and they hold it quite well. As we mentioned, now Classic with the AR in his hands, again, not having a great performance when it comes down to the stat line, but he's had some big moments to start. But here comes the break from Dallas. Illy leading the way, swapping back and forth. 70 or Krieg, take your pick. All that we know that he sits on 6 in a row. Gunless continuing to answer, and at the perfect time, 30 seconds left, valuable seconds here at basketball. He will go ahead and call in the artillery barrage. But you just look at the positioning from Surge. I mean, what, it was Prestini who was the farthest pushed up. He gets taken down. So while granted a weaker Dallas, but they spawn up, and so Surge at the very least, I mean, they just kind of hold, and they're gonna have to set up for the rotation again. Streak usage just not really being on point, or at least not equaling out to much. As Dallas, with these final few seconds, are going to be within less than 20 seconds.
He's 33 and 17.
Hardpoint. The roll change has been fun to witness, but Illy, he continues to fry streaks for Gunless, and now streaks for Illy.
It's here. He
almost took out Prestini, but
16,
again,
25,
it has been
16,
Dallas
22,
toward
19,
the stretch. They
33,
have
and then
looked so good,
17.
and the second set of rotations, and now they're less than 10 seconds away. Shotzi's getting a little bit angry, taking him down, saying the sub roll happens to be mine. And with that, Dallas, an emphatic reply on the second set of rotations, they walk away with this 250
to 116. Octane can get a shot down with this SMG, and Preston can show up.
Such a great job from Dallas right there. The game was close, basically all the way to the middle part of that game. Once it hit the second rotation, going into that D3, when I thought Octane was gonna win that rotation,
swapping it up like this, having the one AR just run through everybody. Look at him, dude, with 3 SMGs funneling them to him.
A good chunk of time off that. And just going back to our keys to victory, our main focus in hardpoint for Dallas was Illy. This is their biggest X factor, and right there, he has himself a game, man. 26 and 17, picks up some streaks to close out the game, and that's exactly what he's supposed to do for this roster. Dallas walk away with the first one.
Yeah, I mean, we went over his, his X factor in wins versus losses. We see him have a big game, and how great are those streaks? Obviously, earning them throughout the basketball court just seals the deal there over at Pitt. Just a great game overall from Illy. 27 and 17, 5,200 damage going off for the team, and like we said, a nice start if you are Dallas Empire. But I'm sure the Subtane having Octane with a 74U had to throw them off a little bit. But with that, who knows how the strategies are going to look coming in towards standoff, search, and destroy. That is going to be our next map. Can Dallas make this one a 2-0, or can the Surge land their first search and destroy here in stage 5? We will find out when we come back.
Zenni, the official eyewear for the CDL. Armor your eyes with Zenni Blocks blue light protection glasses by visiting zenni.com/gaming. The Call of Duty League is brought to you by ActiveStat, the next generation analytics platform built with Google Cloud that brings fans, players, and commentators the power of competitive statistics in real time. Get insurance savings and discounts from USAA, the official insurance partner of the Call of Duty League.
The official Zenni Call of Duty League eyewear is here. Head to zenni.com/CDL to choose from all 12 team brand collections and get your signature Call of Duty League frames. Every pair comes with an exclusive case and cloth for your team style or signature league style. All of Zenni's Call of Duty League eyewear is available with Zenni's block lens technology, which armors your eyes against blue light. Hey, what, folks? I could definitely use some Zennies because I feel like my eyes have deceived me. Octane running an SMG. In fact, it is true. I could use some of those wonderful, wonderful frames, but we got to talk, about this Dallas Empire team specifically in the Search and Destroy. Let me bring up our quick scope presented by Scuff. And obviously for the Surge side, not great, right? So they sit at 13 and 25, 11th is CDL. But this has been a mode that, Dallas have been working on consistently throughout the year. And this is a mode that, you mentioned at the start, how this is a mode that you want to see them work on in regards to their map pool.
Yeah, this is huge, man, because they're sitting at 500 even on the year so far. But if you go back to that Stage 4 major when they played against FaZe, they were able to force a Game 9 by winning a majority of those Search and Destroys. And when you go back after you're winning that many Search and Destroys, if you're any of these other teams, you're going to definitely watch them, see what they're doing well, because to take down Atlanta in Search and Destroy is not an easy task to get done, but Dallas were able to do so. So now for Dallas, they're 3-0 so far versus Seattle on the year in Search and Destroy. Right. So like I said in the beginning, it's all about just expanding their map pool. They only have one map where they're over 500, and that's Miami. They're 8-4. But every other map, they're basically negative or sitting at 500 even. So they have to just work on getting more consistent at these other maps.
Yeah, and how often have we talked about, top teams in the league, whether it's been Atlanta, obviously winning a plethora of their championships, when Toronto won theirs back in Stage 2. A lot of the focus has been on that Search and Destroy. I know the focus has kind of changed. The old tales that was SD wins championships. I know that's been changed up a little bit.
Yeah.
We talked about certain dynasties maybe being more dominant at respawns in particular, but this year it just seems to be teams who are more well-rounded in the Search and Destroys seem to be at the top echelon of the competition. But here we go. In toward the round one, Dallas Empire on the attack, losing Illy. Start this one off. So far for Dallas throughout this season, Stud, it has been the Shotzi and Crimsix show on standoff, both at around 1.1s. Illy and Vivid, not exactly the same. Again, this team looking to, get the 4-4 record. They currently sit in 3-4. W today would put them at an even record for the most part. A lot of things on the line here for Dallas, and so far, Crimsix, nice reply there on to Gunless. As he'll just continue to make some noise over in top wood, and with that, Vivid catches out Pristini, now setting up for the play at that A-bomb site.
And he's not even going to plan it. Shotzi's just going to immediately push up and get that kill onto Octane. So now it's classic, all left in a 1v3. When Seattle started off the round with the man advantage, immediately it's just 3 straight kills coming from Dallas. Make it 4. Even when they drop the man right there, Crimsix still puts himself in a position to even up the numbers and then plays his life beautifully. But it was all on just the switch up from Vivid, because he was that guy who's sitting around the middle of the map. He knows that one player is going to be sitting out towards Deli. He immediately pushes as that player gives up his position as he's trying to shoot at Crim. And they just played the numbers correctly, man. Shotzi was in no rush to plant that bomb, chases the kill onto Octane, and then eventually they work it together, man. Dallas walk away with a good first round.
Yeah, good first round, solid one for them. Surge only put up 1 kill on the board. And really speaking of single digits, Surge, as you mentioned, Stud, 2-12 in their last 14 S&Ds. I mean, as we hop in here into round number 2, what do you want to see Surge do differently?
I just need to see more teamwork. Like, when they find themselves in numbers advantages, like basically the last round, you need to not give up your life as easy. You need to just play together and rely on these team fights, get effective trades, because that's just something that they have just not been successful with all year. Just getting soloed out, not work together as a team eventually costs them in a couple rounds. But this round has been flawless so far for Seattle as the retake is trying to come in. Shotzi on the flank, though, able to take down one. 25 seconds left in the 1v3. This is basically impossible. Seattle, come out and take that round tied up at 1 apiece.
Yeah, a good responding round there from the Surge. I think majority of that, it's credited over toward Nicky D. As we said, had a little bit of a rough performance in that raid hardpoint with the Krieg, but maybe feels a little more comfortable with the SMG, gets down the objective, sticks Vivid with the nade, and also takes down one of the final players of the round, arguably one of the most important. That would leave Shotzi, as we said, in that 1 versus 4. So well played there from Classic, and as you mentioned, Stud, just playing around each other. Again, Classic goes big in the overall department in terms of just score, right? Gets the objective down, gets 2 kills to go along with it. More of that, I think, is the way that we would describe in regards to the Surge. Octane off to an 0-2 performance. Because again, he is basically the flex right now from mode to mode. Shotzi causing problems toward bottom wood, and just like that, Vivid is watching the other entrance. Pristini trying to sneak out the employee exit, but he gets dealt with. And now it is the Surge left in a 2 versus 4. Octane and Gunless versus the remainder of Dallas.
And Octane's able to find one, so trying to get the numbers back to even. Still in the 3v2 situation. Dallas have a lot of time to work with. They're not really trying to rush this bomb plant. Ellie's still trying to spot anything towards the middle of the map. Crimson's taking his time towards A, but they're eventually going to probably wrap this towards A, work this bomb plant. As Crim is able to spot one and Gunless in towards that deli area. Now it's all up to Octane in a 1v3.
Best of luck to Sam LaRue. Illy able to take him down from Broken. And as we mentioned, Illy kind of the major player coming in toward this team. You want to see him have a solid performance, a solid series. Obviously finds the final kill, but again, he just continues to be, I feel like, the talking point alongside Vivid. You know, he's obviously still trying to get comfortable with this team. Vivid and Illy, Search and Destroy, not been the greatest so far in Stage 5. Not really been a great season of Search and Destroy for Illy. I know without that sniper in his hands, it has changed up his style a decent amount. We just continue to talk about just that complete roster stud, you know, which team can kind of have all 4 players going off at one time. And been fun to see Dallas really start to improve. They go to that grand final at the end of the last stage. They'll look to be doing similar things coming into Stage 5, but a lot of that, as you mentioned, hinges on this mode in Search and Destroy.
Yeah, and with a minute left, you see the setup from Dallas. No one is moving. They have a lot of crossfire set up. Crim6 is going to be able to open up with the first blood. So now Seattle, they have to put a step on it. They have to try to be aggressive, or at least try to even up these numbers quick. Because Vivid, he's able to at least spot this one player into his back alley. You know it's Classic. You know he's carrying the bomb. So they're still just wasting time, but Crim is actually able to find the second, Shotzi with the third, and just like that, Pristini left in a 1v4.
Oh, Pristini quickly gets involved in a fight. Maybe a little bit too close quarters for him, and I swear that Crow was actually trying to give away Vivid's angle where he was holding him. I mean, he was calling out. He was trying to tell him exactly where he was. Hey, he's right here. You can literally take him down whenever you'd like, but it's well played once more from Dallas, valuing the numbers and Surge. Just continue to get picked apart. You see him have some good moments here or there, but Dallas, again, dominating in the early toward the middle side of the round. Surge, only 1 to speak of through our first 4, and this is a huge one for them. Octane, as we mentioned, 1 and 4 now. On the other side, Shotzi and Crim combining for 10 and 2. Great performance for these guys as they continue to make waves on standoff S&D. Octane, the sole man toward the backside of A. He could very well get punished if he's not careful. Quickly gets out of dodge, repositions, and takes down Vivid for the first blood.
That's a huge kill because then that leaves the opening for Pristini. You see him approaching towards backside gas station. I don't think any players from Dallas are going to be worried about this. You see number 7, he's consistently turning his back, but he might just get some bad COD timing. Pristini was able to sneak through, so now it's on Crim to try to pick this up. He's going to read it, but Pristini's able to win that one-on-one. Just like that, Pristini's able to come through the flank, find 2. It's all left up to Shotzi and Seattle. They're able to complete the retake. Both 2 kills from Octane, 2 kills from Pristini, able to close out that round.
Yeah, such great plays from Pristini on the flank, cutting down the Empire. We always discuss Route Man gets paid and Pristini earning his dues here. A huge round for him. It's just so weird. It's just so strange. Like, we go from Pristini, then to Octane. Octane has the 74U in his hands. It's not something I think I'm ever going to get used to. but
Yeah.
as we said, they get it done here in this round, and a saving one for them, just keeping things ever closer. As we said, yet to win a search and destroy so far in this stage, and it's like I said, it's a kind of great record. 2-12 in their last 14 so far in standoff, hanging with Dallas. You got to imagine Illy brings it up a little bit, how much different the score can look. Now it's on to Surge here on the attack. Some early utility tossed out, maybe even a nade to go along with it. Bristini not too thrilled. The explosives a little bit too hot to handle. He'll have to dip on out, maybe tag up his teammate to try and take the fight, but the explosives will continue to rain. Classic jumps on through, finds the first blood. However, that's traded out from Krim, as he'll take Octane along with him, now giving Dallas the numbers. Bristini and gunless, still with the bomb.
Krim is dominating right now in the first blood column. He's just solely just picking these guys apart, as Seattle are trying to play for trades, but now they find themselves in a 2v3 situation. Shots already pushed up behind them. So now if you're Bristini, what bomb site do you decide to go to? He's going to just try to sneak up the middle of the map. And this might be an opening for him. It's all about if he can get the timing right. And with Gunless picking up that kill, I don't know if Krim's going to be able to give that call out in towards the kill cam, but they know where Gunless is. They just have to try to locate Bristini. You see shots. He's slowly creeping up in towards Wood. Is he going to check this corner? He's able to spot Preston. He's going to win that engagement too. So if I'm Bristini there, you got to try to stay alive. You don't want to die. Gunless is right in that corner. It's an easy kill for him. But now it's a 1v1 with only 10 seconds left. You have to grab this bomb and plant it. He might not have enough time.
Yeah, Pierce is sweating it. He's not going to be able to get the plant down, but is he going to check right? He doesn't look toward his left. Oh, my goodness. The timing. How that could have worked out for Gunless, that he had his stick turned a certain way. I thought he was going to look both left and right as he entered in toward Delhi. But again, just the chaos of how that round ends out. Again, it's a 2 versus 2. Bristini with the bomb. Just gets caught off guard from Shotzi, but despite it being a 1-for-1 trade in the overall kill column, that kill in particular is what wins them the round. Great plays coming through from Shotzi. He now sits at 6-3 and continues to distance Dallas away from Surge as they find themselves up 4-2. Now back on attack.
Yeah, and you see the aggression coming in from at least Seattle, pushing towards back alley. It's going to be Classic being super aggressive towards Gas, but now he has to back down because the pressure's going to be here. They're not slowing down either. He said, hey, it's Classic. We're going to full on send it. And that's exactly what happens as Vivid's able to take down one. The trade comes in from Bristini, but Shotzi's there to immediate answer. And just like that, Dallas have the man advantage in the 3v2.
I don't know. It just feels like kind of an odd challenge for Bristini. Okay, who cares? Gunless lines up 2. All of those thoughts completely wither away after an emphatic 2-piece from Gunless. Big P. Lining 2, Krim. A lot of work to do, but has some time to do it. 35 seconds on the clock. His house was built in 1928. He can literally do anything he wants. Classic spots him and tags him up. Krim 6. Try to build the solid foundation toward the later stages of the round, but it's the Surge who are there to sniff him out. Oh boy. That 2-piece is going to ring in their minds for a while.
Yeah, Seattle staying alive in this one. That was that swing round. You cannot allow it to go 5-2 instead of 4-3. And Seattle, they get the answer. So now what can they do on this offensive side? Dallas Empire are dominating right now in the first blood column. So that could be the first answer. Someone needs to open up with the initial kill. You see the early aggression once again coming in from Dallas. This is the same exact setup. You're going to have Krim 6 playing by himself at A. Number 7, which is going to be Illy, watching in towards top wood. Then you have Mr. Shotzi, who's going to be in the middle map watching that entire cross. This is help with the crossfire on the Krim 6 side. This is going to be a difficult setup to break in for Seattle. With a minute left, they have a lot of time to work with.
Indeed. Shotzi, just right around the corner from Classic. Shotzi has to be able to hear these steps, so he's given quite a bit of call-outs toward his squad mates. And you see Krim, quick adjustment, goes from the tractor now toward the street. Zilly able to reply with the first, but Shotzi's got other words to say. Takes the head away from Classic. But Bristini looks to even the numbers. Gets the nice angle there on to Vivid. And now we're into the 2 versus 2, 25 seconds on the clock. But a bomb that still has to be planted. Shotzi and Pristini about to meet up, but it's Shotzi who wins the affair. Gunless trying to go for the trade. He's able to do it, but he's still left in such an awkward position. He has to get this plant down quick. He has to get it down fast. Does Shotzi look to challenge this? You bet he does. Dallas now reach 5.
And Shotzi goes huge in that round, man. That was 3 on the round for the young man, for the MVP. But that round, it left a little sour taste in my mouth. Like, Illy, you can't challenge in that 2v1. I understand you still got Shotzi in your back pocket, but still, you got to make the round easier for yourself. You can't give up those 1v1 challenges and lose it, because then the round becomes a lot more difficult. But Shotzi, 10-4, able to clutch up on a 3 spree. 1 round from Dallas, closing out this map number 2 and taking that 2-0 lead. Gonna be aggressive once again in towards this wood area. Crim 6 trying to spot anything from that top window. They're just taking their time, seeing if Seattle are trying to get aggressive on their defense.
And Surge just not trying to give anything away. They don't want to reveal their position, allow for any unnecessary fights. One player that could really change things up is going to be Octane. He does get a little bit of information, but he doesn't see Vivid. He does not see Vivid making his way up towards the tank. That's not just going to be 1, but could it be 2? Deserves the reward for his efforts. He makes the sneaky play. High risk, high reward. Gets traded out, but it's Dallas with numbers. Now to the 3 versus 1. Gunless left by his lonesome, but of course, it is Shotzi to seal the deal. A performance to remember, and walks away with the most crucial kill, the final one of the game, as Dallas walk away with the search and destroy in just 9 rounds. From one SMG to another. Vivid, now to Shotzi.
And that was just great teamwork out of Dallas. Like, Illy was throwing shoulders into his top wood the entire time. But once he's able to release that flash, Octane is fully flashed. He doesn't have tac mass, so then that allows Vivid to just straight up push up the middle of the map. And that was well executed out of Dallas, man. And that is where that teamwork really comes in handy. They dominated in the first blood column, and you can just tell they are a lot more fluent on this map. That's going to put them on 4-4 in standoff, finally breaking that 500 mark. And Dallas, they just look good, man. 2-0 in the series, 1 away from closing this one out.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, it's just a map that both Shotzi and Crim 6 feel very comfortable on. I mean, we talked about it. They do. They absolutely love it. They have a good reason to love it. I mean, you're going 8-5, Shotzi 12-4. Great performance, as we mentioned, from the MVP candidate. He's defending it from last year. We'll see how his case can continue to improve as games like that.
That's a 2-0 in favor of the Dallas Empire. Unfortunately, not in favor of the Seattle Surge. But if you guys are watching the same game that I'm watching, this is the performance that I was just talking about, okay? That everything that we just got to see, that's what I had anticipated or tried to get you guys hyped up for. Gunless, icy hot, exactly how I had said. You showed up hot. You were 15-5 in the first 5 minutes of that match to end up dropping 30+ kills, doubling your teammates, if not the opponents as well. That's a performance worth writing down and memorizing. That hardpoint game was only that close, in my opinion, because of you. The SMGs all came together and funneled kills to you, and you executed that flawlessly. I think you had play of the game. You're probably going to get the Army play of the game at the end of this entire series. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to you, because there was that 3 or 4K that we got to see while you were holding the center of that hard point with teammates nowhere near you, all dead, spawned out. You held that single-handedly. That is what I showed up for today, okay? That's exactly what the fans at home like to watch. You provided that. That was amazing. Preston, you looked a little defeated at the end of the game. I get it. I do. It hasn't been the smoothest of rides, but you are the smiles. You're the dancing guy. You are the energy. If you're down, the team is down with you in my mind. That's how I see this. That's what it just looked like to me. You did not look like the happiest of individuals, and I think that kind of rubs off on the people playing with you. I wish I got to see more forced energy, if anything. I know that takes a lot. I know it does. Trust me, I do it every day. But you, of all people, can do it better than all other people. That's what you are the king of. Every time I think of you, I think of this giant smile on your face with the most energy, and that's what we needed today. That Surge and Destroy game, too, it was different. Okay, I've talked about it before. We used to be one of the top 3 Surge and Destroy teams. We haven't been performing that well lately, but today, you guys looked like a team that, instead of getting steamrolled in an S&D match, actually belonged there. There were matches and rounds in that match that actually made me wonder if you guys are going to come out on top of that completely. what was it? At the very end, we got to see Gunless unfortunately running down to a 10-second plant, which kind of threw the round for you. Obviously, it's not a throw on your behalf. It's just timing and Call of Duty. Handed the other team an easier round, ending it, I think 6-3. But that was a 5-3 situation, or it was a 4-3 situation that you guys had a really good hold on, and I think you could have came out on top of. Preston got caught out on a rotation. It's stuff that happens, but there was nothing watching where I was just like, oh, what are you doing? Why are you doing this play? Where did that? There was none of that today. I didn't see any of that where I was watching you guys wondering, how are you a pro? Instead, I was watching you and I was like, this is why they're pros. This is why they get paid the real money to do this kind of stuff, because you guys showed up today. You did. Unfortunately, Dallas is the reigning champs. They are a team and force to be reckoned with, and they showed that as well. Even when they choked or messed up plays and you guys capitalized on that, they still came out on top with the victory. That's just how it works out sometimes. But regardless, it was a very interesting 2 games to watch so far, and I'm beyond hyped now for Game 3. I don't know how it's going to go. I know we've been playing really well in Control. There's high hopes for Control. We unfortunately, I think last series we lost our Control match, so that leaves me a little scared in how we're going to perform. But if you guys are playing how you've already been playing in the 2 that we have lost today, I think there's high hopes for Control. And if we take that and we move on to another Hardpoint where you guys already just slayed beyond expectations, there's a good chance of turning this into a reverse sweep, in my opinion, and I'm going to look forward to it. I really got nothing else to say other than how excited I am to watch this series. It may not be in our favor right now. We may be down 2, and we could very well get eliminated in this very next game. You don't know, but I will tell you, it's a good series so far. I'm here for it, and I'm going to stay here for it, because this is the action we have been missing. These are the kills, the kill streaks, and the performances that we have been lacking when we've doing them individually. We're now doing them together for once. So let's see what we can bring together. Let's see what kind of unity we can do. And yeah, I'm really excited for this. Guys, if you want to look as good as I do, remember shop.seattlesurge.gg. You can get hoodies, jerseys, merch, and more, and you can look as good as I do. Don't forget the short drop as well. It'll be in the description below. That is limited time, and it is fire. I was already peeping it. It's good. Guys, check that out. Please do me the solid. Just give it a little taste, all right? You don't have to instantly leap at it, but click that link at least and give your eyes a feast of what that beauty is, because that is what it's all about. Guys, I'm RLAW, and I will see you guys after this final match. I'm here for it. Guys, remember, round them out.
Any map where Simp performs poorly.
Simp, though, the hero of the map for Atlanta phase, stays alive and he gets them both.
In fact, he's often topping the stats charts across every single game mode.
Simp, a one-man wrecking crew, Scraps, just run the other way. Get the hell out of this side of the map.
A particularly impressive feat for an SMG player. Simp's consistent slaying in the respawns and his clutch playmaking ability in the S&Ds has established him as a massive threat every map of the series.
He is one of, if not the most impressive Call of Duty players I've ever seen.
And there you have it, your first 2 nominees for the 2021 Call of Duty League MVP, powered by Astro Gaming.
Those are 2 of our MVP candidates. Shotzi, of course, being featured in this game. And listen, I'm going to ask you this. I mean, what do you think that Shotzi has to do to reclaim, to defend that MVP title?
He's got to come out and win the tournament. Like, I understand you've been to a grand finals versus FaZe. You forced them all the way to the game 9. It's the deepest we've ever seen someone push FaZe besides Toronto actually beating FaZe. But Shotzi, he definitely has to come out and just dominate at least one of these last 2 tournaments, man, because we saw him at that last major. He was really turning up. His overall KD is at an 18. He's 18th overall. He's at a 1.03 overall. Hardpoint's looking really good. S&D's pretty consistent, but Control, for me, is where he really tends to shine. Yeah. Shotzi, he tends to be sometimes the hardest kill on the map just with his movement. And a game mode like Control is where he tends to see a lot of success, because Waze is able to manage on playing his life. It's such a beauty to watch.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of people who are going to look at those numbers and be like, you know, those aren't really all that stellar. But the one thing you have to keep in mind is how great that he has been, honestly, since the departure of Hook. Like, since he's basically been given back the keys, if you will, toward this Dallas Empire roster. Now with Vivid back on the team, I know there was that stint with Fellow and whatnot, but ever since that Vivid's joined this team, ever really since, like we mentioned, that he has kind of been relied upon to be the guy. I mean, he has taken that, and he is, I mean, what, just absolutely turned around his season. I mean, he wasn't having bad numbers, but by any means, but it wasn't the Shotzi numbers that we expect. And now that he has turned around, it is no surprise for this guy to be in that conversation again. But I wholeheartedly agree. It has to be an event victory. It has to be a far run at champs at the very least, because he's got some very stacked competition and those other 4 players. But here we go. In toward the control. Dallas Empire trying to make it a quick and easy day. A 3-0 would be nice for them, but the Surge, how do they look to reply back? Again, I definitely need my Zennies, because what does it say? It looks like Octane, once more, having the 74U out.
Yeah, and just to talk about this map a little bit, Dallas Empire is sitting at 7-7, Seattle at 5-10. But so far throughout Stage 5, Dallas are 3-0 in control, but they've only been playing raid. So obviously, if you're Seattle, you haven't seen success on that all year. You're going to get rid of that immediately. But so far, this has been a good answer. As you see, Seattle on the defense doing a great job of just picking up kill after kill. They're up by 1 life, but that first tick of progression is going to come in towards that 8 point.
Trying to be problematic. His Classic will be able to find a big kill through middle. He takes down Vivid. Problem being, his fellow SMG instead of Pristini falls. Still doing good just to try to shut things down. Nicky D comes through. That's going to be 3 straight for him. From 6 finally able to stunt his progression, as that will be 3 straight in the feed. Final player is going to be Pristini, as he looks to put some more emphasis on the base of Dallas. However, with 2 players being on the point, that stat continues to come in. Clock stopped at 38 seconds as the Surge look to try and form somewhat of a pinch there onto the point. That will work out successfully. As Classic puts through a big one once more there on to Illy. Good damage done from Dallas, but yet for a point to be captured. 1 push left.
And that's to try to get out of this. They already have 2 ticks of progression towards B, so they can extend this clock if they're able to finish that point. But so far, the SMGs on the side of Seattle have finally woken up. Classic sitting at 7-3, Pristini at 6-1. They're just finessing their lives. And on a map like Garrison is where you really need them to shine. They're answering the call early, as Seattle are going to walk away with the first round.
Yeah, and a much needed round at that. And like I said, just very well played. I mean, like I said, it's kind of weird because I'm like, is Classic an SMG? Is he an AR now? Obviously, he had the 74U out throughout a majority of it, but still, just excellent plays out of these guys. Again, you saw at different moments where Dallas, they'd finally get a little bit of an angle, but Pristini just playing the annoying role, right? Just kind of being in the back, constantly putting pressure on the base. And there was a moment, Stud, where it's like, okay, Krim and I think it was Shotzi are on the point. Pristini, he doesn't try to challenge. Instead, he allows for his teammates. He has confidence that his teammates are going to win those kills. Meanwhile, he challenges the base. Just well coordinated, and just good to see the Surge having confidence in each other there.
Yeah, it's great from the Surge, man, because they have yet to win a hard point. They have yet to win a search and destroy in this stage. The only thing that they have been able to take is this game mode. So it's a good start for them. You're going to see Pristini swapping out to that Krig as well, trying to pick up some early kills with that. Octane still running the sub. Has me completely mind blown. Shout out to Nameless. And so far, it's a good start from Seattle as they're going to find 2 early kills and start working that progression up at B.
As we said, kind of the untypical role if you're just joining us. Like we said, Octane running the sub in both of the respawns so far. We'll see if he has the chance to pull it out again on a hard point. But how about Pristini, whether it's the SMG or the Diamante, of rather a multitude of different weapons, a variety, if you will, and all of them extremely lethal whenever they're in his hands. Manages to escape just around the corner. And he will manage to stay alive. They haven't actually found exactly where he's at. They're not sure where he's hiding. Meanwhile, he's delaying so well. He's got 4 players that he's all distracting, as that will be another 2. A point captured, and the B1 is halfway to being done too. Pristini cannot be stopped. Now sits on 6 in a row. 1 more away from a streak. As Dallas, days off of spawn, lays down the fire with the Krig, and that is one of the fastest attack rounds that we have seen all season long.
And that was just great work from Pristini, man. Him getting that 2-piece in towards top green is what started everything. And then him playing his life in towards bricks, picking up kill after kill, staying alive the entire time. I'm pretty sure he wasn't able to pick up some streaks, but he's going to be on a 6th spree going into that next round. That was just quick and efficient right there from Seattle. I felt like we haven't seen that from them all year. But that was just a dominant round out of them. They're going to find themselves on defense. Once again, Pristini on a 6-3, trying to pick up some streaks early and close out this game in lightning speed.
I mean, he's 12-2. Classic is 11-5. And normally when we talk
Looking
about,
good.
I know, we talk about the Surge, normally it's going to be, you know, on Octane, Gunless, how are they playing? But no, not at all the case. As you'll notice, off the start, Surge playing around Pristini for streaks, but he's not able to earn it. Crimsix has some words for Classic, as that'll be Dallas. Based off of that play, the early start for Surge, in which they try to earn those streaks for Pristini, that does not work out. And you see them having to pay for that investment, as Dallas already halfway to capturing this B objective. I'm sure they'll be looking at VOD later on after that, saying, hey, was this the right play? How do we do this differently for the future? Because much like in the last round, Surge getting the B objective quick and early, it's Dallas doing it as well, as they've got plenty of time to work with. Only a few bodies that have been lost so far in this third round. And Dallas looking good. Possibly put one up on the board as Shotzi starting off with 2.
And that's going to be the pinch. Now you have that player coming in from top green. That's going to be a clean 4 dead. The stack is going to come in.
Okay.
And it's moving so fast. There goes the first segment. There goes the second. And I don't think that any players from the Surge are going to be able to get here. And Dallas respond with a very quick round of their own, are able to walk away with the offense in dominant fashion. Now stay alive in this game, down 2-1.
Which one was faster? Like, we honestly did like a stopwatch out. Like, I think the Surge won barely, but I mean, I don't know if we've seen back-to-back rounds that quickly before. We need to give a call to Tyler and find out exactly how fast those were, where they rank. But my goodness, in and out, stud. I feel like we just started and we're already in round 4.
Yeah, like this game is moving at lightning speed, and Dallas Empire, they were just able to respond with a very good offense of their own. You see Shotzi, he was able to pick up that artillery, and he's also working towards that cruise, and this is going to be huge as he's able to pick up those streaks. They can be useful later rounds into this game. They end up back on the offense, but you see Shotzi still finessing on a 6-3, trying to make it 7 as the gunfight is going to be here. Classic's able to win it, so that's going to allow for Seattle to get out of their spawn. They have some top green control, and you already see what number 4 in Gunless is doing, trying to cause some problems at that 8-point.
Gunless trying to cause some noise, cause for some concern, as Pristini will be there to trade the kill. He now sits at 15-5. Again, as we mentioned, Dallas doing what Seattle could not, earning those streaks for the future, but the streaks may have to come in handy at some point soon, especially if Surge continue with how great that they have been so far at that B point, just trying to make some noise inside of top green. Is Dallas then to go for the challenge, or do they hold back? Just based off of that progress, they are going to allow for Surge once more to get that capture point over at B. It's 2 minutes on the clock. Both teams been unsuccessful in these last few. Playing well on defense. Classic already in your face, but Illy with a nice turn on. And that makes life much easier for Empire.
Yeah, that was an insane gunfight that Ellie was able to win. Then that would allow Surge players to push out towards top green. But with him finding that kill, 2 of his teammates are able to pick up 2 of their own. So they're starting to get a little bit more aggressive towards the middle of the map. Seattle still trying to work their way up mid. 1:30 left on the clock. They have a 3 live advantage. It's all about executing this push one good time. Trying to get at least 2 kills on this opening engagement. Vivid was able to find one onto Classic. So that's going to keep the push staggered. And eventually the time is still ticking, man. 1:15. Seattle still have yet to find a good push in.
They're just trying to find the right lane. Sometimes when you wait this long, it can come back to bite you. They're just trying to find the right angle, but just as 3 fall, Vivid spoils the party. And now Pristini will be the last player pushed up, and now it's time for a reset. As Dallas already on the map, you notice they quickly try to grab map control inside of middle. Shotzi coming from the top tank nearly turns on the Classic. That's going to be 3 more. Now make it 4 down again for Surge. Just a matter of what, 25 seconds. Surge go 8 players down. And now that life count totally gets changed up. Illy now finds himself on 5 in a row. Vivid does not get away without having to pay for his troubles. Illy does get dropped, and I don't believe that he earned streaks. This is going to be a round toward the Dallas Empire, as we discussed. Some very solid play on the attacks, but Empire just say, oh no, down 2-0. They come back and win the next 2 straight. Then we have got ourselves a round 5, my friend.
And you just got to keep in mind that Shotzi did not use any of his streaks.
That's
like,
right.
They're going to have that. And I'm pretty sure that both teams are tied in segments, so it's going to come down to those kills. And I'm pretty sure that Dallas is outslaying right now, so they should be able to walk away with the defense in this round number 5. You got those streaks in the back pocket. All you have to do is get a nice, clean 3 to 4 down and eventually set up that spawn trap like they just did towards the very end of that last round, man. Crim 6 on a 5 spree. Shotzi, once again, still has those streaks to work with. Seattle need to try to have a response here. Octane sitting at 10 and 19. Still running that SMG. It's throwing me off a little bit, but he needs to try to turn up in this last round.
It's kind of weird to say, but hey, like I said, consistency from the entire Surge roster outside of Octane. We'll see what he can do. He plays a major role when it comes down to this round 5. But can it be 3 straight out of Dallas Empire? How punishing has Shotzi been from this vent position? Seattle start things off well, but this is a major gunfight. Gunless is able to take it. Big P is able to get into the top green and now cause some noise over at that A point. And he does start things off with taking down Vivid, but here comes Crim. He's actually earned a streak as well. Keep in mind, he actually sits on 7 in a row. So that dominance after the last round now catering into this one, as that's Octane and Classic getting taken down from the streak. As that has really been what this entire map has all been about. The streak usage, who has them, who does not. Can it be a 7th kill in a row? Rather, excuse me, a 10th kill in a row for Crim? Can it be the artillery, just a few extra shots? Or, excuse me, for the cruise missile. 30 seconds now for Surge to work with, and they are trapped in the back of their base.
And it's only a matter of time before it becomes a streak party. Shotzi has both in his back pocket. Cruise missile just came in for Mr. Crim 6. So now with 20 seconds left, Seattle, they have to try to do something, man. They have to try to get on this point, but it's going to be so difficult as here comes the streaks from Crim. 10 seconds left. He knows the positioning of some of these players. They have to be sitting inside, but Shotzi still has these streaks to work with in the backside as well.
He does indeed, but Surge, they get onto the point. They're able to hold, and you see with 3 players, now at B, they start to stack. Shotzi, though, is going to call on the streak. Keep in mind, there is 5 seconds on the clock. If they hop up that point, it's going to be done. Octane, though, still alive. He's the final player, and those streaks will call it a game. Shotzi putting in the work, calls in the streak from above, and you see the smile, the smirk on his face, as that will close out our series down 0-2 in the control. But Dallas, they win 3 rounds straight to find themselves a lovely 3-0 sweep.
And that was just good work from Dallas. They went down 2-0 nice and early. Like Seattle, they were looking like a completely different team. You had a Classic who was playing really well, Pristini who was picking up some early streaks, and they went up 2-0 in pretty dominant fashion. That offense was super quick. But then Dallas with the immediate response. That you see it on the screen right there. They're 4-0 in control. But with the immediate response in that very next offensive round, they were able to take B immediately, get towards that 8 point, and just make that a quick round as well. And then the last 2 defenses they had, they made the proper adjustments. They did not go a clean 4 down. You had players who were consistently being nuisances like Shotzi, like Vivid, running around those little vent areas, going through underground, just being so annoying, which allowed the ARs to really set up, man. Shotzi picks up some streaks going into that next defensive round. And then also Crim on that 5 spree is able to get a couple kills into the next one, and then it's just streaks galore. It's impossible for Seattle to try to get out of their base when there's that many streaks on one side of the board.
Yeah, and we just talked about, I mean, we get back to that conversation. If Pristini earns the streaks, granted it was early, maybe that could have been, you know, that 3rd round that they were hunting for throughout those last 3, but just a rough game here for Octane, which again is really strange to see. Again, you see he has the 74U, goes 11 and 25. Just at 74U, just seems to be bad luck for whatever reason for any Seattle Surge player that happens to have it. They have their moments, but it just was not their day. The home team, unfortunately, going down in an 0-3 loss. And Ollie's predictions, not exactly accurate. Maybe another day, maybe another time. But like we said, man, it was just an all-around solid game from Dallas. They answer back when they need to, and specifically the guy that we've talked about coming into that control, Shotzi, right? He has a big game, has a big performance, and boy, did those streaks come in handy.
Yeah, they definitely did, man. But Dallas, they just do what they need to do. They took care of business here because the big picture now is that series versus Ultra.
Right.
Ultra win today, Dallas win today. It's still that 5-point deficit, man. If Dallas can come out with that same fire, probably a little bit of improvements in their search and destroy. There's a couple rounds where Illy, that ego child, is still in the back of my mind. You got to make sure you don't allow that to happen versus the top teams. But they just handled the business here. Now it's all about the big picture, trying to get that second seed in that match versus Ultra.
Right, of course, which is what it's all about, right? This team is trying to improve, work on the little things to improve for the big things. And speaking of a big thing, our scuff play of the game is the man, Shotzi, our Astro MVP, goes big with the streak toward the end. Stud, I mean, walk me through it, man. It's heartbreaking if you're a Surge fan to see this.
Yeah, there's only 10 seconds left. Like, they were able to get a couple kills out of their spawn, but Crimsix had some streaks. Eventually, his are going to get completely used. And then now it's all on Shotzi. He plays it safe as well because he's going to be at that 8-point just in case a contest comes in. And then they know, Seattle, they have to stack this point. They have to try to extend this clock. And the more people that are on it, the faster it's going to go. But Shotzi is able to find 2. Crimsix is able to eventually find that last kill as well. That's a clean 4 dead. Dallas, they just dominated in the last 2 defensive rounds, and it wasn't even close.
You just see the smirk again. You just see the excitement on Shotzi's face. He is he's on the naughty list, that's for sure. I mean, it is Christmas in July after all, and he's not doing great in that department. Some coal for you, Shotzi, but hey, like I said, he's feeling good. Team has to be feeling fine after a W like that. And as you said, man, it really sets up that series between Dallas Empire and Toronto Ultra, folks. That is one to watch. If you have any plans on what I believe is going to be Sunday, make sure to cancel those. You need to watch this series, as that will have massive implications for who is going to walk away with that first seed in Group B. And also something that you have to pencil into your schedule if you haven't done so already, which I'm sure that most of you already have. Our 5th and final major is going to be going down. Folks, you can get some tickets. You get to be there on July 29th to the August 1st. Feel free to, of course, tune in, but you also have the ability to be there. It is going to be a blast. It's going to be a fun time, and we hope to see you there. Well, as we said, folks, home team going down in a 3-0 sweep. The Dallas Empire are feeling good with a W like that.
Guys, it is what it is, and unfortunately, it is not the performance or the win coming in favor of the Seattle Surge. It was still a series that I genuinely enjoyed watching. I really did have a blast. We were up 2-0, I believe, in that control match. We ended up costing, and unfortunately, threw the win away from us to end the series 3-0 in favor of the Dallas Empire. However, we got to see some really excellent gameplay today that we have not seen in quite some time from this roster. You didn't see the best energy from everyone, obviously. There's a lot of frowns in that team, and that makes sense. Our record right now isn't the best, and that is factual. However, the statistical analysis of each player shows that moving forward, these players are still top tier. They are still slaying. They are still showing up and getting their job done. Classic. You did exactly what I needed from you. I had talked about you, name dropped you, everything, and you really showed up in that control match. Watching you, I was actually very surprised to see that that initial 3-piece you had after that mantle. That was really clean. That was a really surprising play from you. Unfortunately, you ended up getting caught out in the corner, and that's what happens. But you killed 3 out of 4 of them before they got you, and that was phenomenal to watch. I definitely enjoyed that. That got a lot of energy out of me. I wasn't expecting that from you. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've seen a lot of plays where I expect the worst, and when you show the opposite, it blows my mind. And you didn't need any teammates for that. That's what was so spectacular about that. On this, you showed up as well in that first match, dropping the 30+ kills. Octane, we got to see some SMG gameplay from you that I wasn't anticipating. I didn't expect it from you. It was interesting to say the least. I have high hopes for how you can perform as an SMG player if you continue to use that in the future going forward. Who knows? I'm not sure. Preston, you started off slow. That's factual. It is. You started off really slow. But then once the fire was there, it's like Gunless lit a flame underneath you and passed on the torch because you showed up. You started killing, and there was no stopping you. I wish we were able to go a little longer because I think that you guys were getting the momentum that you had been missing, and that could have very easily turned into your series. All 3 games were close. No one's going to sit here and be like, oh, Seattle Surge got stomped on today. There have been days where we have gotten stomped on. There have absolutely been those days. Today was not one of them. You showed up, you executed everything that was needed of you, and all 4 of you played brilliantly. I believe that the future moving forward, if the 4 of you continue to play like that and you come together and we can utilize these little individual clutch plays that you guys have and make it a team effort, you guys were one step closer to being exactly everything we needed. And that's what I'm excited for. Guys, remember, check the description for the limited drop. It's a short drop. It looks so good. If you want to look as good as I do as well,